Hey everyone. So I'm just gonna wait for a couple of minutes till we start the session. Just letting more people come in. So I think we are ready to begin. Firstly, thank you everyone for joining this session. This is Simran here. I coordinate the Smart Trains PR and Communications. I'm your host for today's evening session, Security First in DeFi. The crypto space is evolving as we know, and so are its products. With DeFi booming in 2021 and NFTs trending even with the mainstream audience, we've all come a long way. With drastic improvements in the space, more retail audience have entered and are currently experimenting with the DeFi space. While most of the latecomers are newbies, security breaches, scams, and hacks have also been catered towards them. So the hacks and scams that have been happening in this space are exploiting the newbies that have entered this space in the 2021 boom. The threats you might face today on projects building on top of BSC are no different from the one that happened back in 2017 when the ICO craze was like just going on and Ethereum was one of the hottest blockchains for ICOs to build on top of. Millions of users flooded the blockchain and many of these users were victims of scams and attacks. Since then attackers have gained sort of an experience, like they know what to do, what not to do, what users react to, and how the security is exactly placed. But with blockchain's best feature being immutability, every malicious activity is trackable. Today we bring to you a startup that has been tracking previous hacks and scams and still have leads on where the funds are moving. I'm talking about Merkle Science. We have Raghav and Gabby from their team today who will be running us through a short presentation around what all can be done during and after attacks, what the incident response should be like. To give a short introduction, Raghav is a lead data scientist at Merkle Science, where he helps crypto businesses, financial institutions, and law enforcement agencies. He helps them investigate potential illicit transactions. While Gabby is the director of communications for Merkle Science, who coordinates educational and training content as a part of a remit. So, without much further ado, over to you, Gabby and Raghav. Let's go. Let's get this going, guys. I'm going to add you all to the stream. Hi, Gabby. Hi, Raghav. So over to
Hi.
you guys. Please feel to share your screen and introduce yourselves to the audience and take this forward.
Sure. Let me share my screen right now. Okay. Great. Awesome. Fantastic. Well, welcome everyone to this session. Like Simran said, my name is Gabby. I'm the head of communications at Merkle Science, and joining me is lead data scientist Raghav for this presentation. We're very excited to be here. So let's get started. Just a quick introduction to Merkle Science. So Merkle Science is the next generation predictive cryptocurrency risk and intelligence platform. We help crypto companies, financial institutions, and government entities really detect, investigate, and prevent illegal activities that involve crypto. So we really see our role in the ecosystem as building the infrastructure needed to ensure that anyone can transact with crypto safely. So that innovators and disruptors such as yourselves who are building on Binance Smart Chain can focus on what you do best, which is scaling and really growing your businesses. Merkle Science, we have some great clients and partners listed here, including 100x, CoinHawko, On-Chain, Custodian, also some great investors that have been supporting us from day one, including Digital Currency Group, Kinetic, and SG Innovate, which is a Singapore government supported deep tech fund. We also have the privilege to work with leading associations and ecosystem partners who are involved in global money laundering and terrorist financing prevention so that we can stay on top of blockchain's fast pace of change. And as a result, also the changes in criminal activity in crypto. And we are located in 4 cities, Singapore, Bangalore, London, and also New York, which we are actually opening right now, and we're actually hiring. So, if anyone is interested in a role, you can definitely go to our website and take a look at the roles available in the New York office. So to start off, it is about incident response today. So, when there is your project, should there be an incident, should there be a scam or a hack, what are the steps that you should be taking in response to it? So first of all, we created a 5-step framework, which we will run you through today during our session. So the first step, obviously, is incident monitoring. So what that means is that, you really should be looking out for incidents. And Raghav will run you through kind of like how we can be doing that as a project. And then, should an incident happen, we're looking to identify affected addresses. We're also going to look at tracking and monitoring fund movements. So once, an incident happens, we really have to follow the trail of the movements. And that's kind of the beauty of on-chain analytics, right? You can really follow the movement of the funds. And next, we are looking to notify recipient entities and letting people know that this incident has happened. And then last but not least, a due diligence report on the entities themselves. So to kick off, I'm going to hand it off to Raghav, who will walk you through incident monitoring.
Hey, Raghav, you're on mute.
Sorry.
You're on mute. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hi, guys. So, yeah, thank you for the kind words, Gabby and Simran. So, one of the first steps when an unfortunate incident takes place in DeFi is to monitor the potential incidents in real time. Some of the protocols might have already adopted certain measures, but let's go through what more they can do and what tools we can develop. Companies use a myriad of tools to stay on top of potential hacks, such as deploying real-time Twitter polling and sentiment analysis to know near instantly when an incident has taken place. This can help determine suspicious activity off-chain, that is off-chain from Binance. On-chain analysis of token prices and contract funds can help to find if an incident has also taken place. Significantly larger than average selling or buying on a protocol is an indicator of an attack. So is larger than average draining of funds from their contracts. Next slide, please. If a protocol suffers an attack, the first thing we'd want to do is identify the affected addresses, starting from the contracts to the users affected by it and their addresses. To assess the damage caused by an attacker, we would first need to identify the contracts exploited. The best tools available right now to do that are BSC Scan and BitQuery. In parallel or after identifying the contracts exploited, protocols should reach out for assistance from white hat hackers or audit companies to understand the scope of the incident and to attempt to mitigate the damage done by the incident to user and protocol funds. After the team gains a better understanding of the incident, they should communicate the incident with their community and inform their users of the attack with relevant initial information so they can make an informed decision about their token holdings or funds deposited with the least amount of panic created. After that, a protocol's responsibility is to engage a blockchain analytics company so that they can immediately begin tracking the stolen funds movements and advise on legal recourse the protocol has in this situation. Next slide, please. Once we've assessed the initial damage and communicated with the community to allay or confirm their fears that an attack has actually taken place, we have to continue collecting data further for future analysis to potentially recover these funds. Currently, blockchain analytics and investigative companies such as Merkle Science deploy various tools and products to collect relevant data about addresses on public blockchains like Binance Smart Chain. This data collection includes on-chain and off-chain analysis, both of which guide crypto businesses to deal with addresses with legitimate funds following AML laws. Examples of on-chain analysis include taint analysis that track funds from mixers, the dark web, and other dubious sources to guide crypto businesses, especially fiat and on-ramps and off-ramps. On-chain analysis could also be empirical measures like transaction sizes, transaction frequency, hacker wallets activating after a long time to inform crypto businesses and prevent laws from being broken. Off-chain analysis also helps synthesize a comprehensive view of funds on a blockchain. By observing various data sources like Twitter, Bitcoin Talk, Reddit, analytics companies like Merkle Science can track addresses performing activities against the law. After a protocol has identified the attacker's addresses, one needs to be able to track and monitor the movement of funds. As we saw earlier, existing analytics companies are very good at tracking funds and have tools available to support tracking hacked funds. But due to the complex nature of DeFi systems today, and as protocols become more and more composable, the effort to track these funds is becoming more and more painstaking and cumbersome. And some of the existing systems and products cannot keep up with the pace of complexity. Since DeFi is still a nascent space, tools are still being tested and products are being developed to ensure real-time tracking of DeFi incidents. Merkle Science is exploring and testing existing tools in order to be ready for DeFi on-chain DeFi chains like BSC. We have a great tool called Plexus. A screen grab of it is shown on the screen. It helps visualize Bitcoin transactions and addresses. This enables law enforcement and crypto companies to move faster and spend fewer resources towards managing their tasks. We are also exploring real-time integration of the same product Plexus with Binance Smart Chain and hoping that it can surely help protocols to visualize attacks and fund movements in real time to prevent conversion to fiat and possible recovery of the funds stolen. Let's see how one can use these tools to make the process of understanding a hack easier. So as we can see, first we have to identify the relevant addresses, i.e. the contract exploited and the exploiter's address. So let's say it's these two nodes being pointed to by step one. This actually moves the funds to other nodes. Usually exploiters try to trick analytics tools and other such things by moving funds between various nodes. So if you look at step two, it sends the funds through a lot of exit and intermediary nodes to get, which are just addresses, more addresses to get information. So we can use this product to get information about how funds are being moved and what dexes these funds are being converted through and what mixers they're actually going through. Eventually, we want to stop these funds from reaching the exchanges, or even if they have reached the exchanges, inform them that the funds are already there and maybe freeze the funds and possibly return it to the protocol. Last but not the least, we have to notify any recipient entities. The same ones we were just speaking about. If it reaches exchanges and other crypto businesses, we have to tell them if an exploiter has or other illicit addresses have made their funds available to these businesses to convert to a fiat off-ramp, we have to notify them. You may wonder why do we need to notify crypto businesses that they might receive or have received illicit funds? Firstly, as a whole, we should be in support of growing a healthy ecosystem. Secondly, it's important to note that crypto businesses are under obligation to report illicit funds or transactions on their platform to local jurisdictions under the FATF guidance. FATF, if you're not aware or familiar about it, is an intergovernmental agency for anti-money laundering. It provides guidance to all major financial jurisdictions around the world against money laundering and other criminal activities. To do so, they use a lot of products, and a lot of them also use Merkle Science's blockchain monitor. Merkle Science have a blockchain monitoring compliance product that helps crypto businesses to determine the risk accepting funds from an address. Cryptocurrency businesses screen all incoming and outgoing transactions from an address and get a risk level. A blockchain monitoring product for BSC can help companies understand the risk associated with each address which sends funds to them. Let's have a look how this product actually works for crypto businesses to allow a healthy crypto ecosystem. So as you can see, a screen grab from the product is right on your screen again. So crypto companies actually screen, as I've spoken about, screen all incoming and outgoing transactions from addresses. You can see the columns. The leftmost column shows the addresses, and the one right next to it can show a risk level associated with it. This is using various algorithms and data collection tools. If they consider an address at a high risk level, or if they've been informed that hacked funds are being sent from an address, as you can see in step 2, compliance officers investigate opened and escalated cases, and they're also alerted about this. So most of the crypto companies have compliance officers to deal with these FATF laws, and if they find out that there is a high risk level associated with an address sending funds, they will take measures to stop those funds or freeze those funds. One of the measures is to actually report the address to the authorities, which is the next step, step 3, as it is required by law and they are obliged to do so. And in very severe cases, they'll hold the funds, like in a hack or something, and then give it back to the protocol itself. I'll hand it back to Gabby. She'll guide you on how due diligence reports on entities can help our ecosystem grow.
Great, thank you very much. So yeah, next up is the due diligence reports on entities. So as in the aftermath, we really do want to do a deep dive into the addresses that were actually involved in the incident, right? And who we actually suspect belong to the criminal. And we really want to try to see whether or not we can link them to known criminal entities. So at Merkle Science, we really do this through 2 types of reports that we create. The first is the enhanced due diligence report, or we call the EDD. And what this does is that it does a deep dive into the transaction itself, so that we can actually improve incident response and assist with investigations. This also helps boost the source of funds analysis of customer funds, so we can actually track it and figure out like what is actually going on during the incident. The other thing that we also leverage is something called the Know Your Blockchain Business Report, or the KYBB. So what this does is that, through the tools, some of which Raghav ran you guys through, but we also have other types of tools on the back end that can help us, as long as we have one address, to be able to identify other addresses that are also associated with that address. And sometimes we'll also be able to identify an entity or an individual that is labeled illicit, right? So whether it's a sanctioned individual or it's connected to the dark web or anything like that, we have an ongoing list in the background so we can actually connect it to a specific entity. So as as you wrap up your incident report, it is definitely important to see how far we can go with this. And then also we have a network of crypto businesses, the industry that we are connected to let everyone know that this is actually happening, so that they can actually flag it themselves internally. And that really helps ensure that we are trying to grow a safe ecosystem so that people can transact on it in a safe manner. So next, we're actually going to kind of illustrate everything that we talked about, the 5 steps. We're going to run through a case study. So obviously, a few days ago, there was the Pancake Bunny hack that we all know about. So we'll just quickly run through what happened. Raghav will run you guys through the case study and kind of like where we are seeing the 5 steps being taken during this hack. Raghav?
Thank you so much, Gabby. So yeah, let's look at all these steps which one should take if an unfortunate incident occurs, or a hack or a scam, and through the lens of Pancake Bunny's hack. Sorry. So here's the framework just to refresh your memory, right? So we went through all the steps earlier, just the broad strokes. And now we're going to try to marry this with an actual hack example. Let's begin by summarizing the steps taken by the attacker to extract funds and look at what happened in the Pancake Bunny hack. So the attacker deposited 1 BNB worth of USDT to the Pancake Bunny USDT WBNB vault in order to stage the exploit. 9.275 LPs were generated as a result of this deposit. The exploiter then went to borrow 2.3 million BNB from 7 Pancake swap pools and 2.9 million USDT from Fortube Bank using flash loans. The address or the contract then deposited an additional 7,700 BNB and 2.9 million USDT of liquidity to the PancakeSwap USDT WBNB pool, along with the LP tokens generated from step 1. Then the address converted 2.3 million BNB to USDT through the PancakeSwap USDT WBNB pool, flooding the pool with BNB and significantly reducing the amount of USDT in the pool. With the LP in the PancakeSwap USDT WBNB pool, Bunny Finance believed that the exploiter had actually added more BNB than the address had, hence was able to exploit the system to mint 7 million Bunny tokens. The exploiter then sold 4.8 million Bunny tokens for 2.3 million WBNB and 2.9 million USDT, which it then used to repay the flash loans from step 2, and the rest of the money actually went in the exploiter's pocket. So after the team found out about the exploit, they identified the exploited contract and the attacker's address. They communicated with the community quickly to reduce panic and allay their fears. This incident in particular highlighted the importance of identifying relevant addresses and reducing panic in the community through effective communication, as the price of the protocol token plummeted due to this attack. Pancake Bunny did a very good job here and allayed the fears, bringing the price back to some semblance after a while. The crypto and open source community in general is very helpful during attacks, as witnessed this time too. The extremely helpful Igor from the block outlined the hack, and the rest of the crypto community were quick to explain the causes behind this attack to avoid the same amount of panic. And this helped and aided in tracking and monitoring fund movements. And we'll see how we can notify recipient entities due to this problem. So let's have a look at the aftermath of this exploit. Please bear with me while I go through a lot of the technical steps. There are three main addresses that are relevant and to keep in mind, which are listed on top of this slide. Now, tracking funds can be extremely cumbersome. The Bunny exploiter 1, which is an address, created an exploiter contract at 9:42 on May 19th to execute the attack. Bunny exploiter 1 invokes the contract at 10:31 to add the initial amount to stage the exploit. The same address then invokes the contract again to carry out the attack at 10:34. After all was said and done, the attacker received 114,631 BNB at the end. The attacker then proceeded to convert this BNB to any ETH using the 1-inch DEX, and then used the Nerve bridge powered by AnySwap to transfer the any ETH to ETH on the Ethereum chain at the same address. This amounted to 16,774 ETH. 16,500 of this ETH was then sent to Bunny Exploiter 2, which is another address. Majority of the ETH sent to Bunny Exploiter 2 minus transaction costs, 205 ETH, which it sent back to Bunny Exploiter 1 after sending it to Bunny Exploiter 2, and 0.128 ETH, which still remains in Bunny Explorer 2, was converted to DAI using 1-inch. The total DAI amount reached approximately 45.5 million DAI. This amount was then sent back to Bunny Explorer 1, except 100,000 DAI, which was sent to Rect DAO. Rect is a journalistic organization that helps break down attacks and why they happen. They educate the users of the risks of using DeFi. So the exploiter actually cheekily sent Rect DAO 100,000 DAI. 480 ETH and 30 million DAI approximately still reside in BE1 account, which is the Bunny Exploiter 1 address, and 15 million DAI have been sent to Bunny Exploiter 3, which is a new address, as you can see on top, and haven't been moved from there. Next slide, please. I think, sorry, no, please can you go back to the previous slide? Yeah, so the process to find all this info actually required a lot of work, was painstaking, time-taking, and cumbersome. It combined the usage of BSC scan, Etherscan, and when it comes to tracking and monitoring fund movements, we really need better tools in the age of DeFi. Tools like Plexus will surely help protocols understand attacks better in the future. As the aftermath is easily available and on BSC scan and Etherscan, if you saw with the previous examples, something like this is way easier to visualize using tools like Plexus, which Merkle Science gives us. And we want to be able to use those tools to inform and notify entities and crypto businesses so as to stop off-ramping of these funds from the hacked addresses to fiat. While it is not public information, we can also assume that Pancake Bunny engaged some crypto analytics companies to help prevent fiat off-ramping, which we were just speaking about, by the attacker by notifying these very recipient entities. As an extra step, the Pancake Bunny team can choose to also do due diligence on the attacker's addresses and see whether or not we can link them to other known criminal addresses. It's imperative that we make DeFi a safer space for future growth and new users to be onboarded. With attack deterrents like the one we just described, we can make it a healthier and safer space. Thank you. I'll just pass it back to Gabby. She's going to assist and explain how Merkle Science tools can actually benefit and to make this system safer and grow the system further.
Thank you, Raghav. So yeah, I mean, Raghav listed a number of tools that we have in place to help and really give a 360 a view of what is happening during an incident, right? So this is just a slide summarizing, the types of tools that we have to really help all the way from, incident monitoring to doing the deep dive and the due diligence at the very end. So, of course, we have our blockchain monitor tool that really helps businesses meet their AML and KYC regulatory compliance obligations. And, we actually use beyond the blacklist of just like, who is identified as a criminal, we also use behavior-based monitoring to go above and beyond and to identify suspicious transactions and criminal wallets. We also use Tracker, which is the Plexus tool, in order to forensically investigate financial crime. And like Raghav showed us, it's a great visualization tool to see the flow of funds and kind of like where things are going from and to. And we actually just launched a multi-hop feature to this, so that you're not just looking at the direct, like where the funds are directly coming from, but you can look 5 hops. In terms of like where the funds are coming from, and really get a broader scope and picture of the entire incident. And then we also have our KYBB and EDD reports to do the deep dive into the transactions, into entities that may be involved, in the incident. And then last but not least, Merkle Science, we also have the Merkle Science Institute, which is really our training platform, right? So we do work with crypto businesses, financial institutions, law enforcement agencies, regulators, and such, to really help educate the space on, what, all the way from like very much basics of what is crypto, what is blockchain, to the latest in terms of, the types of technology, that is emerging, that is quickly picking up speed and adoption. And also the criminal activity, the types of criminal activity that we are seeing. So, a very 360 view of, incidents. And yeah, we're really, like I said at the very beginning, looking to build infrastructure to really help, for individuals, entities, whoever it is, to transact safely on using crypto. So yeah, that is it for our presentation. Thank you very much. We are definitely reachable on social media. You can reach us via email at contact@merklescience.com, and definitely can find us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook as well. Thank you very much for listening in.
Thanks, Gabby. Thanks, Raghav. You guys have been amazing for today evening. Like it's been such a lesson for me myself. So I can only imagine what our audience has to, ask us. So guys, whoever is like online, if y'all have any questions that you guys think Gabby and Raghav here can answer, please shoot it out to us. Y'all can also, just like type it in the comments, that section that's there in YouTube and Twitter. We can get back to you also on that. So we're just going to wait for a couple of minutes and see if anyone has any, questions. Till then, I'm just going to talk and explain a bit. If y'all get any questions around that, just, shoot it out. So basically, the importance of learning why your security is important, how to go about that, is basically if you ever fall, prey to a project that is not really, a good actor in the space, someone that has, taken your money out, or a scam or a hack has happened on the project that you've invested, you know how to, actually go forward with this. So you understand what are the steps that you need to take. So, in short terms, we can just keep as, you need to track it, you need to report it, and you need to perform a certain kind of thing to understand what next is going to be and not panic. So I think that's the main takeaway from this segment that we have. And there's Merkle Science team who are going to be available for you guys to check out. If you all have any questions, please reach out to them. I will circulate their, email IDs. I think they have a slide at the end, which I'll just add right now. This one, so you guys can like contact them if y'all have any information, if y'all want to report something, if y'all want to track something, if y'all want to use their products, please feel free to reach out to them. So there is a question here. I'm just going to like put it out. It says, hello, you said you can use BSC scan or Ether scan to see the movement, but how to see exactly what? Functions were called in which contract, etc. This is not visible in BSC or Ether scan. Raghav, do you want to take this up?
It's not easy to see what functions were invoked in a contract. That's only possible if the ABI or the code for the contract is made available, which a lot of the legitimate protocols do. They make their code available on GitHub and it's open source, so it's very easy to go and see which how the code invoked what particular function in what contract. Usually, these are private contracts made by exploiters, and they don't reveal the code of the contract, so it's very hard to see what functions were actually executed in the contract itself.
Got it. Thanks, Raghav. OMG Art wants to ask, are you doing this for DeFi projects only? So this is for the DeFi space. You can also use it when you're using centralized exchanges. It's basically to understand how to track what to do with your funds when you are a victim of a particular hack or a scam. Do we have any other questions? We're gonna wait for a few minutes.
Gabby, would you like to actually add something to this question? It's a very interesting one.
Yeah, absolutely. So, definitely DeFi projects are booming right now. And, obviously there's a lot of growth and interest in the sector. Merkle Science, we did start off with actually centralized exchanges. Basically, under the FATF, which Raghav mentioned earlier, they call them virtual asset service providers. So essentially, they're crypto businesses that have crypto moving in and out of them. So major jurisdictions, like financial jurisdictions around the world, follow the FATF when it comes to anything that's AML related. So essentially, and it does vary by jurisdiction, but if an exchange is either registered in a certain location. So I myself am in Singapore. So let's say an exchange is registered in Singapore. They must follow the MAS, which is the monetary. It is the central bank of Singapore. And they have to follow their rules. And also, if they're actually courting the users or actually the citizens in Singapore, they actually have to follow the regulations as well. And part of that has to do with monitoring and tracking funds that are moving in and out of your exchange or any other type of VASP. So they actually do have to report this stuff to regulators if there is transactions that they deem to be potentially suspicious, right? So which is why in the blockchain monitoring tool, there is flags for how high risk the transactions are, right? So it goes from low, medium, high, and then critical. So we, once it hits a certain threshold, and it really depends on the business's risk kind of profile that they will put together with their compliance team. And once it hits a certain threshold, then they'll have to follow the procedures of the local jurisdiction and actually report that to the regulators. So as like a company and as a tool, we actually started off like 4 centralized companies, exchanges, custodians, we work for funds, et cetera, et cetera. And now that there's more FIs moving into the space, we are also doing this for financial institutions. And then on the flip side, we do help, law enforcement agencies and regulators in terms of how they're looking to enforce. And also, should a criminal activity happen, it's evidence, like what the EDD reports, like that is evidence that they will take to court in order to kind of indict an entity for, dealing with money laundering, that type of thing. But now that we are in DeFi, we are exploring and really trying to figure out the risk profiles and how to monitor for risk, but also provide regulators and also FATF with understanding DeFi so that they can, if they feel like there is a lot of criminal activity, then they may put down guidance and regulations to kind of stem money laundering and illicit behavior. So we are kind of like doing a lot of exploration around this right now, and you'll probably hear from us very, very soon in terms of more information on risks or associated with the DeFi space.
Great, thanks, Gabby. So Tripo here has a question again. He's saying that I have tried to review the Pancake Bunny hack since it's public, but it still does not show in the scan. do you know any specific tools to follow these these public contracts? Raghav, maybe you can take this up.
Yeah, thank you, Simran. And thanks for the question. So that's our precise point that it's extremely hard if for non-public contracts to actually follow the movement of funds. And an exploiter actually tries to make it harder and harder to track these funds because it's their job to technically hide the funds from companies like ours, and other financial regulation agencies, so that they can fiat off ramp and steal the funds. Our role in the ecosystem is to bring these funds back to you guys if someone actually hacked a particular protocol, like in this case it's Pancake Bunny. And we try our best to do that. But for the Pancake Bunny specifically, the exploit, most of the stuff you can find on BSC Scan and Etherscan. So this one is kind of unique because the exploiter jumped funds from one chain to another. So you'll have to also use Etherscan to figure out the stuff. And for public contracts, it's easy to follow the things because the ABI is written. Even if it's not written, the first few characters of the method call, if you look at it in the transaction, that you can dehash and then check the code online on the GitHub for the particular project you're looking for what contracts they have.
Great. Thanks, Raghav.
You're welcome.
There's another question. Is this threshold based on heuristics of good and bad actors?
I can take that very quickly. So essentially, there are rules when it comes to regulators in terms of red flags. So what we should be looking out for, and the thresholds in terms of what we're monitoring for is based on jurisdiction. So the regulators will have specific rules for that, and also procedures when it comes to reporting any sort of illicit activity.
Gotcha. Thanks, Gabby. I think that's it for now. We don't really have any more questions. Do you guys have anything else to say?
I mean, just thank you very much for listening in and for your excellent questions today. But yeah, no, like we were certainly very actively in the background building this infrastructure that we were talking about, just to ensure that we are transacting safely, and people who are using DeFi can do it with peace of mind. But yeah, so like this is really great. Thank you very much for the opportunity, Simran. And yeah, if you guys need anything or have any additional questions, feel free to reach out. My email is Gabby, Gaby @merklescience.com. Raghav is Raghav @merklescience.com, or you can reach out to our general email here. But yeah, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. It was so nice to have you all both. So yeah, let's be in touch. Let's do more of this. Our community loves this. We saw a lot of people online. A lot of people came live. So that's great. Let's keep doing this. Thank you so much for joining us today. Have a great day.
Thank you, Simran. Stay
Bye.
safe, guys.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're going to wrap this session out. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to just add the community link for Binance Smart Chain. Y'all can join this. This is for devs. So if y'all have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out there. There are a lot of community members who help on a daily basis. They'll help you out. And if y'all have any, if y'all find any malicious activities, if y'all want to track that, if y'all want to, flag it to us, please reach out to us as well. Thank you so much for your time. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.